Are you lacking passion and purpose in your work? And get up on Monday mornings to prepare to go to work and feel like you can't think of anything you'd rather do less than that career that you worked so hard to get, or that business that you developed, and feeling depressed and anxious and maybe even a little guilty that you did all of this work, took all of this time and energy to live into this dream space only to arrive there and feel completely disconnected from it. And maybe it wasn't always that way. Maybe there was a minute where it was really good and it felt like the right thing. And over time, you lost the zeal, right? The creativity, the energy, the joy, and the passion that you once had for this thing. And you are super successful, right? All the things are there. All the things are there. It's just that you can't feel it. And if this is you, then I am Jen. I'm the founder and owner of Laughing Lotus Wellness. I'm a purpose coach and expert. And what I do is work with women just like you who in midlife begin to kind of go, is this all there is? Is this enough? And there is a small voice inside there somewhere that says, no, this is not enough. And this is not what I was meant to do. And so what we do in our work together is clarify where you want to go, where that passion's pulling you, where the fire feels like it could be reignited. And then we recombine that purpose and passion with success. And whether that means you stay where you are and we can find a way to tap into that right where you are, or we might need to transition elsewhere, that's what we do. And what we're really talking about here, right? We're really getting after 20 years of clinical social work, right? All the trainings, the certifications, all the stuff I've done, all the learning I've done, because I love to do that. I know that we're talking about imbalance. And if there is that sense of absolute dread or living in a hamster wheel or having that eternal question, like, is this all? Is this what life was all about? Then there is something seriously imbalanced. And that's what we're going to be talking about today. Balance. How to recognize imbalance. It's a great tool. And so we can recognize imbalance in a couple of ways. We can recognize imbalance by how we show up, our thoughts, the state of our thoughts. So if we wake up again on Monday and I'm getting ready to do my thing, and all I am thinking about are the ways that I can evade having to do a certain part of my job, or ways that I can avoid certain people and situations, ways that I can make things go more quickly, right? I do one vacation to the next vacation to the next vacation because I just can't stand real life. And so when we begin to find that we're having anxiety and depression and we're feeling hopeless and we're feeling defeated and we're not feeling passionate about what we're doing, we know we've got to take a look at what's going on. So I'm going to invite you to do an exercise with me today. So I invite you to close your eyes if you're open to it. You can soften your gaze or find a focal point, whatever's best for you. And I invite you to take a nice tall spine. Nice tall spine. It's really good to allow the energy and the breath to flow, and that's why often you'll catch me asking you to sit up nice and tall. Bring those shoulders up to your ears and then wind them back down the body and release them, okay? So we just want to release those because oftentimes we're holding tension in those shoulders as well. And so having some beautiful alignment, right? Balance begins with alignment. Balance begins with the breath, and it begins internally. The journey to balance starts within us, not without. And so what we're going to do is we're going to go inward and we're going to pay attention for a few moments. And I want you to just listen to my question first, and then we're going to do a little exercise. The first thing I want to ask you, as you're seated here, you're finding the breath, taking a few deep breaths here. It might be the first real breath you've paid attention to all day. So bringing in a few really balancing breaths. So first, I'm going to invite you to think about, how does imbalance show up for you? In your mind, body, and soul, how does imbalance show up? Does it look like irritability? Does it look like too many sick days? Does it look like canceling appointments or events? Does it look like feeling sick? Does it look like relational problems? Does it look like a sensation in your body of feeling tense or exhausted? Does it maybe look or feel like tension internally, right? Tied up in knots, headaches, digestive problems, migraines. So for a moment, I want you to scan your life for just a moment and imagine what things tell you you're out of balance. And then I want you to rub your hands together, create some warmth. And I want you to place your hands over your heart for a moment. And breathe here. So we're now anchored in through the seat, nice tall spine. Hands gently placed over the heart. There's something incredibly soothing about placing your hands over your heart. The warmth, and it's almost a protected gesture. And energetically, you're just holding space for the heart for a moment. And I invite you to have one hand over the heart and one hand on the belly if you'd like. That also is really soothing. Just creating a connection with the body here as we breathe. Beginning to create a sense of balance and quiet for a moment. And in your mind, I invite you to adopt just a regular breath here. Nice, even, steady breath. So watch for that. Watch the belly, watch the chest for the breath. You might catch yourself holding the breath. You might catch yourself having very shallow breath. Just listen for that. Just bring awareness. No judgment. And what I want you to do in your mind's eyes, I want you to imagine a really tight ball of string or yarn or whatever it might be that's kind of a jumbled mess, right? And with me here, what I want to invite you to do is take an end, the end of that ball of stuff, yarn, string, whatever you want to visualize. Just imaginarily grab the end of that. And I would imaginarily grab the end of this. And what I want you to do is I want you to begin to take those ends. And as you exhale, pull that out a little bit. Pause and inhale again. Pull it out a little further. Inhaling in again. Exhale out, pull the string a little further. And I want you to do that all the way to your arms are all the way outstretched. And you can imagine that ball of yarn, that ball of energy, whatever it was, has now been completely released and is in one beautiful long line of energy, flowing breath and energy. And having that visual sense of something being tied in knots and then released and relaxed. Bringing equilibrium. Right. Bringing awareness and nourishing yourself here. And releasing the hands to the lap. And what I want you to do now is just to scan from head to toe. Are you sensing any spaces that feel imbalanced yet? Checking that body from head to toe. Any places you might still be holding or gripping. Tense, tired, strained. And if you notice that, I invite you to bring the breath right there to that place. If there's any spots you're still holding, bring the breath there. And if there's not, I want you to imagine that beautiful line of energy that you pulled apart. And you just imagine the breath, right? Along the length of it, and an exhale along that same line back. So I'm either tapping into anything residually hanging in there, or I'm just breathing along that beautiful line of energy. Inviting balance into this moment. And I'm going to invite you to release that now, coming back into the space. And I just wanted to take you on a small journey to begin to recognize the value of awareness around where imbalance is and how it shows up in our bodies, how it shows up in our minds and our thoughts. And so I want you to really examine that. So as we go through, you're beginning to understand how and where it shows up, right? And so again, we want to define balance as bringing alignment-laden awareness to nourishing and calming enlightenment. We are going to elevate ourselves up out of that space that feels defeated and exhausted and distressed into a space of calm. And so that's what our little exercise was all about today. Awareness, and then bringing that calm is checking out a way that we can actually pull apart the parts that feel tight and stuck and release that and come into a different space. And so I invite you to do this exercise, right? If you're having a tough moment at work, or before you even start your day, or at the end of your day before you go to bed and you're kind of coming to bed and you've got this like tight mess, try this exercise with the breath and release that out. If you enjoyed this and you're interested, if you want to head over to my website, I have tons of tips and tricks and tools on my purpose part of my website, just dedicated to those tools. You can go in there and purpose tips, tricks, and tools and check all of them out. And so that's at laughinglotuswellness.com, laughinglotuswellness.com. Head right there to check out more tips and tools for how to stay the path to purpose and how to bring more balance and alignment into your life. So I invite you to check that out. And this is Jen supporting you on your path to purpose. Until next time.